Do you have Pornhub Premium? What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. It's the end of the month, which means it's time for the monthly Q&A. So if you guys don't know how this works, at the end of every single month, I answer the questions that you guys ask from the comments of the previous Q&A video. So if you want to have the opportunity to have your questions answered in the June Q&A, leave your comments down in the comment section below with the questions that you have, and be sure to thumbs up the questions that you really want me to answer in the next Q&A, because I do take that into account. But without further ado, we're gonna get into it soon. One thing I did want to touch up on is I needed to announce the winner for the Gem Prototype Playmat giveaway. It's been a long time and I never had the opportunity to announce that winner, but the winner of that giveaway is Vu Min Nguyen from Germany. So congratulations, I'm really excited for you. If you can, please send me a message on YouTube or on Facebook, anywhere that you can just access me. Just please send me a message with all of your shipping info so I can get the Gem Prototype Playmat out to you as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the questions. So as always, we start off with the questions from my patrons. So starting off this month, the Synchro Guy asks, what cards are you looking forward to or hope will be in the new Circuit Breaker set that comes after Code of the Duelist? Well, they already announced Fire King Ganesha, and all my OG subscribers know how much I love Fire Kings, so I'm really excited for that, but we haven't really gotten too much of Circuit Break yet. I don't really want to speculate. I'd rather just see kind of what we get and give my analysis as we get it, but overall, if we're gonna get a bunch of legacy support in the set, I'm not gonna complain. Chris Wilson asks, assuming no new archetypes break the format post-Link summoning, what decks do you think will hold the top 10 slots past Nationals and rule changes? Do you believe it will drastically change, or will current top decks continue to define the meta? So, if Japan is any indication of what's going to happen post-Link format, it's going to be really interesting, because right now the top decks are going to be Zodiac, True Draco Zodiac, and also, you know, we have kind of dinos in there, but they're not really like doing anything in terms of tops, but people are still playing the decks at highly competitive levels. And what's going to happen is post-Link format, like I said, assuming Japan, we follow Japan, you know, Zodiac is still going to be extremely popular, just, you know, I guess a little bit hindered. True Draco Zodiac still going to be incredibly popular. Pure True Draco is actually going to become very popular, because since we're in Link format, that deck doesn't require the extra deck whatsoever, so that's going to be much more popular because it's completely unhindered by both the ban list and Link summoning, assuming, you know, the ban list doesn't wreck any of these decks. And then True Draco, or excuse me, True King Dinosaur actually gets a boost as well, because the other decks get lowered in their power level because of Link summoning, and dinosaurs don't really need to use the extra deck. Obviously, summoning like Logia, VFD, like all that crazy shit turn 1 is insane, but you can get away with just summoning a VFD or just summoning a, you know, a Logia or anything like that, and it'll usually do the job. Chris Alonso asks, what camera do you use? So I'm currently using a Logitech Brio 4K. It's the brand new model that they actually just released this year. It's pretty much the successor to the C920, and so far I'm liking it a lot, but I'm probably going to be upgrading to something much higher quality very soon. Josh Christensen asks, did you know that the real reason you can't normally Xyz summon using Xyz monsters is because of Totally Awesome? If you were able to Xyz summon with Totally Awesome into, say, another Totally Awesome, then there would be too many toads stacked on top of other toads, and we just can't have that. Great, you answered your own question. Daniel Hill asks, which patchwork do you think will come to the TCG first, Fluffle or Frightfur? At this point, I don't even know if we're gonna fucking get the card, because it's probably gonna be like one of those cards like Nittis where we never get it. Like, who the fuck knows? Liam Dyer asks, do you think it's better that the game is split into TCG and OCG formats, or would you much rather have Yu-Gi-Oh! Use just one format worldwide? If so, which format would you prefer? I personally would be a fan of if they merge the formats. The biggest issue with that is because the OCG gets sets like months ahead of us, they have to have it split in this way. So, but if we lined up set releases and if we lined up formats, also that would mean that rulings and stuff would get lined up as well. I think it'd be just more beneficial for the game as a whole, because then it's not confusing by region and just makes something that shouldn't be so complicated much simpler for everyone. Robert Assing, I'm so sorry you have that last name, asks, do you think there will be an Omega reprint in Battles of Legend, Light's Revenge? If there's an Omega reprint in that set, on top of the fact that we're already getting Minerva, that would just make that an incredibly good set. Nim asks, do you eat ass? And Eduardo Huerta asked the same question and was looking for someone to eat his, so Nim, maybe you two should get in contact because it seems like you two have a lot in common. Alfie Morton asks, what is your full name, address, and phone number? Well, my full name is Gage Poljak. My address is... Just kidding. But could you imagine if I actually went there? He'd get so fucking pissed. Ost A asks, what was your first deck and first competitive deck? So, my first ever deck, I guess, was, I believe, like Warrior Toolbox, which, if you guys are familiar with that, it's pretty much a deck like from GOAT format, but it played a collection, I guess, of warrior monsters that were easily searchable through Rhoda, and it was really cool because you kind of had like this toolbox where, depending on what the situation was, you could access anything at any given point to kind of deal with any situation. So I liked it. It was really cool. And then my first competitive deck was probably Perfect Circle, all the way back right before Dad came out. And that deck was so much fun. That's like where I have my love of Monarchs, pretty much in the first place, because we played the OG Monarchs. And, you know, if you happen to go first and set up Ryza and Phoenix Wing Windblast on turn 1, like, it was just fucking over. You won. Zeno Conroy asks, will there be more Yu-Gi-Oh! How to Play videos? Yes, there will be. Link Summoning getting announced kind of fucked with things because now I need to figure out how to incorporate that into what I've already released. So most likely, once Nationals is over, I'm probably going to get back to making the series, and I'll make the Pendulum video and the Link video to kind of reflect the changes in the game board, and then I can pretty much go from there, but that was kind of like the biggest flaw that I was dealing with up till now. But don't worry, they'll be coming back soon. Alan Kozalek asks, how do you think the new Link summoning mechanic will affect the casual player base? Greetings from Croatia. That's pretty cool. So the biggest issue I have with Links and the casual player base is this game, as I've expressed to you guys before, I feel that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of the most complicated card games to learn, and having Links thrown into everything else we already have, I feel only complicates it further, especially if you teach someone all the way up till now everything that you know, and then it's like, oh, by the way, take everything you just learned and throw it out the window because now it's going to be completely different. So it's a bit unfortunate because I think it's just going to kind of increase the barrier to like actually understanding how to play this game. It kind of simplifies it in a way, I guess, as well, but ultimately, we'll see. I don't really think it's going to affect too much. Loyalist Viral asked, are there any other Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube people that you think need more love? Absolutely. So I'm really going to only focus on a couple people just that come to mind off the top of my head, and these are just kind of people that are under 5K, so they might be known by some, but not really by many. D-Summon makes some absolutely amazing content. Even though he's OCG focused, I totally am okay with that, and the way he just talks about the game and the way his videos are designed is absolutely phenomenal. His production quality is amazing, so if you haven't already checked him out, I'd highly recommend it. And even though he doesn't make fucking videos as much as he needs to, the RJB0 is absolutely fantastic. I know I'm friends with him, so I'm being biased here, but I mean, if you just watch some of his videos, especially the way he talks about the market from Yu-Gi-Oh! Just from a business and economic standpoint, it's absolutely amazing. You guys should definitely check out some of his previous content because it's very, very informative. Lord Yado asks, do I really have to bring the deck featured in A Lesson to Consistency to a YCS? Yes, you do. I'm holding you to this. Get fucked. Monkey D. Luffy asks, you talked about how expensive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is nowadays. Can you make a top 5 budget deck list for the Link format? Because you already did one for May 2017. Well, stick around for later on this week because we're going to be getting one for the June 12th format coming up. And then after that, and once Nationals passes, then I'll definitely be doing one for Link format as well. The Heartless Soul 666 asks, discuss Yu-Gi-Oh! Prize support compared to other games. I'm gonna make a whole video on this because I could probably talk about this for close to 15 minutes because this is a very, very interesting subject and a very contentious one as well. Papa Lamidas, I completely butchered your name, I'm sorry, says, do you think that double sleeves should be allowed or not? This is another good contentious video topic. In short, I'm totally okay with it. I know why people don't like it because of the whole cheating thing. At the very least, I feel like our extra deck should be allowed to be double sleeved, but the main deck is probably a little bit more iffy, but extra deck at the very least should be, because I really hate having to unsleeve my extra deck every single time I go to a big event. BTY Beast 97 asks, I just started getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! My question is, what should I invest in that would be competitive for the upcoming ban list? Basically, if you're going anything Zodiac, True Draco Zodiac, or even True King Dinos, if you want to look even further, like to Link format, those are going to be all solid options. I can't guarantee that none of them are going to get hit on a ban list like after Worlds or anything like that, but if you're looking to play in the short term, whether it's, you know, a WCQ or a Nationals or anything like that, even a regional, those are just going to be your best options in the competitive scene. Michael Fitzpatrick asks, what is your favorite archetype aesthetically/conceptually, regardless of viability or strength? Also, if you could create an archetype, what mechanics would it be based around? So, my favorite archetype is an archetype that actually does not yet exist, and that is the armor archetype. I think I might have talked about this once before, but the armor archetype from the Waking the Dragons era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the very first like original Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the idea of the armor archetype just because of how unique the archetype works, and if they design the archetype correctly, I think it would just be really awesome. If they ever print those cards, I will 100% make and play that deck. Shurit, Strategist of the Necros, asks, your top 5 cards to come off the ban list, one way or another. I know I'm already number 1 already. Well, do you now? Well, my top cards to come off the ban list, I am actually okay with you coming off the ban list because I don't think that would really make Necros overpowered. I definitely want Construct to come off the ban list because I want Shadalls to get some love, and plus Construct is an absolutely fantastic card that does not need to be on the ban list. Really, like, I did a video with Robbie about how many different cards could come off the ban list because so many of them are so outdated in comparison to today's meta that it wouldn't even matter if they came off. So, just off the top of my head, like, Shurit and Construct, but, I mean, honestly, there's so many cards, I can make a whole video just about that in itself. Skirian asks, do you have Pornhub Premium? You think I pay for that shit? Michael Anzulovic asks, why isn't your puppy in the videos anymore? Well, that's a very simple answer. Really, if he's on the bed, he'll be in the video. If he's not, he won't be. And Sir Harry Longfellow III, I guess, is very picky where he sleeps, and yes, that is his name. David Fitak asks, I've had 2 shits with a hint of blood in this past week. Should I see a doctor or stop eating Chipotle? Well, Chipotle is very notorious for giving you bloody shits, so if anything, stop eating Chipotle and see if that clears up. But if you're still bleeding out the asshole, you might need to see a doctor, my friend. You Say the Synchro Hero asks, might be silly to ask, but what's your experience with other card games like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Force of Will, etc.? And I know he's probably asking this because I just made a video kind of talking about all these other card games. So my experience with Magic, I actually had a couple friends way back, I would say this is probably 10 years ago, like during like the Ravnica block, I think it's been that long. That was when, like, they just kind of got me into it for a very short time. I wasn't really a fan of it. I thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Was still way better, but they played it and they gave me a bunch of cards to play with, and I thought it was okay. Pokemon, I have 0 experience with in the TCG. I have friends who play it and they tell me all about it, but in terms of the game itself, I've never actually played it. I've never played Force of Will. I play Hearthstone every once in a while, but I play free to play, so it's like I'm not like hitting legend or anything like that. I collected like the Duel Masters cards from back in the day, but like that's like back when the anime was still like on Toonami and shit. And I also had the Zatch Bell cards as well, like the little Momodo spellbook thing. I thought that was a really cool and unique idea for a card game. Obviously it sucked ass, but it was really cool. But ultimately Yu-Gi-Oh! Has just been, you know, my heart and soul for the last, you know, couldn't even tell you how many years. Team Super Heavy asks, what's a fond memory you have from playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, funny enough, I actually tweeted out the other day that, like, I had a day that was just really weird, and it was one of those amazing days that you would never expect. I was at the shop recording for the Imperium playmat review, and my best friend from childhood, who I knew growing up, like, in 1st and 2nd grade, was at the shop, who I have not seen, mind you, in probably 15 years. He was there, and we actually recognized each other, and it was like one of the most amazing things ever. This guy was so cool. I mean, he gave me like a BLS for free back in the day, and this is like when it just came out of like IOC. So like it's so funny how like the people you meet and kind of how you build those connections. And we're actually going to dinner a little bit later this week. So I mean, it's just the people you meet through this game sometimes and the relationships you can develop are almost priceless. Yosenbro21 asks, what part of the community or game would you like to see added or expanded on in order to help the game grow in a competitive scene? This is a twofold answer. So first of all, the prize support, and second of all, it needs a dedicated online platform that is essentially as good as Hearthstone. Panos L asks, I would normally ask about your experience in Yu-Gi-Oh! Your career as a Yu-Gi tuber, but everyone in the comments is going to do that, so fuck this. Do you watch NBA? And if you do, what team do you support? Greetings from Greece. Well, greetings from America. It's really funny because a lot of people do ask Yu-Gi-Oh! Related questions, but NBA, I'm more so of a college basketball fan personally, just because I feel like they actually try harder in college basketball, because once they hit the NBA, like, they just don't give a fuck. They're making millions, and they're just, like, putting on a show. Where college basketball, like, they're actually really trying to, you know, because they want to get drafted, things like that. I used to be a big NBA fan when I was little, but I don't really have a team. I guess if I had a team, I'd probably be a Spurs fan, because David Robinson and Tim Duncan way back in the day, oh man, that was just like the dynamic duo. And now they have Kawhi Leonard, who went to San Diego State. Like, they got so many awesome players. I just love watching that team. Anytime they are playing, I'll usually give them a watch. And the last question is from Subsitoad, who asks, will I ever be unbanned? Ha! And that's gonna do it for this month's Q&A, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, be sure to leave your questions down in the comments below if you want to have the chance to have them answered. I always have fun doing this for you guys because it kind of breaks down the barrier of like me being a Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTuber and really just allows you guys to get to know me a little bit more personally. So again, leave your questions down in the comments below. I look really forward to next month's Q&A. Thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. If you like this video, consider backing me on Patreon, because just by pledging only $1 a month, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.